Nozomi-san, どうぞ。
はい、ありがとうございます。So, hi everyone, good afternoon and welcome. It's truly an honor and thank you, Mei Sensei, for the wonderful introduction. It's an honor to be here at SAUPO. My name is again Nozomi Morgan. I'm the founder and CEO of Michiki Morgan Worldwide. And my work, the focus is around developing global leaders and partnering with organizations to navigate the complexity of leading across cultures, regions, and rapidly changing environments, as you've heard all day already. So across the work I do with companies in the US, Japan, and Asia, and globally, one thing has become very clear. And that one thing is the challenge is no longer just about talent. It's about how we develop people who can lead, collaborate, and thrive in a truly global context. Not just physically global, right? When I say global, it includes a lot of things. All of us are connected through, I guess I sound really old, but through the internet, which sounds silly in today's world when that's just a norm. But it's truly global. We are living in a time where three major forces are reshaping the workforce. The first, as we just heard in the earlier panel, AI and technology are transforming how work gets done. Global teams are now the norm, not the exception, and shifting expectations, especially from the next generation, are redefining what meaningful work looks like. And at the same time, organizations are facing real tensions, a growing gap between technical capability and human capability, increasing complexity in leading across cultures, and a need for leaders to move beyond just managing to truly developing and truly leading people through this complex world. So this is why today's conversation matters, and I am so excited for us to hear from this amazing, powerful panel of women. And with that, I'm really excited to introduce our panelists because they're going to bring very different perspectives. So first panelist we have here is Sachiko Ueno. Sachiko is an HR leader at Nissei ASB with over 20 years of experience here in the US, originally from Japan. And what I really appreciate about Sachiko-san is how she sees HR not just as a function, but as a way to truly support people's growth in careers. So, Sachiko-san, welcome. And then we have Rose Jarboe. Rose is a founder and CEO of We Partner with a background in finance and real estate. She brings a strong lens around partnership, long-term value, and building not just businesses, but communities. So welcome, Rose. Thank you for being here. Over there, we have Ming Francis. Ming is a global entrepreneur working across US and China, focused on cross-border business and brand development. You can tell she's a cool person. She brings a really unique perspective on how global businesses actually operate and grow across markets. So welcome, Ming. Thank you for being here. And finally, but definitely not least, Dr. Heather Koopman. She's the Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics here at KSU. She's helping shape the next generation of talent, which is such a critical part of today's conversation. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, so enough of me talking, enough of me this introduction, so let's dive in. So the first question I have here is a big question, so let's see how everyone answers. No pressure. Okay, so what trends in business hiring do you envision over the next 2 to 5 years? So that's like the big question, and just to kind of give you some other, I like to call them thought joggers here, is like possibly it could be like what shifts you're already seeing. Also you can think about maybe what is being overvalued or possibly undervalued, a lot of different perspectives. It's a big question. Who wants to take that one? Yes?
Yeah, I just told them that I can take the first question because this is actually what I do on a daily basis. Our company is like a brand consultancy. We actually connect ideas, people, and resources globally together and making sure no one gets confused in the process. So when I hear about this topic, about the global workforce development, I'm like, okay, I would love to share my own perspectives. And I would like to talk about 3 things that I think are shaping the future of the global workforce. And the first thing is definitely AI. I know people have already covered that session earlier, but this is just something I have to talk about. And the second one is cross-culture collaboration. And the last one I would mention would be the global awareness. And AI, I mean, if you think about a few months ago, people say AI can only do basic and repetitive jobs. But a few months later, AI agents has already proved to us that it can take a lot of more complex tasks, right? So that made me think about my agency, my marketing agency back in China several years ago. I had a group of 50, 60 people serving our clients. And we were not even a big company, but that's a lot of people I have to pay for, right? But with the capability of AI today, the same amount of work can actually be done by AI tools and agents with a small group of people working along. So that is actually not optional. AI is not optional nowadays. You like it or not, it is the trend. So what we are looking for, so the hiring question has already changed today. We used to ask people, can you do this task? But now the question would be, can you guide the task? Can you have a clear direction? Can you make a good judgment of AI? And would you know when AI is being brilliant or is just making things up again? So instead of having someone who has one specific skill set, we're looking for someone who can judge, who can edit, and who can adapt, right? So that's one trend that I've seen. And the second one would be the cross-border, cross-culture collaboration, and that's where things get really interesting. Because I would think language is still one of the biggest challenges. And one side may think they have communicated sufficiently, while the other side stays confused because of the wording or tone or the expression you pick. So that's still one of the obstacles we see in a global team. However, what's worse is that people think they're agreeing each other because they assume people on the other side would think exactly the same as they do, but they don't. So you see people like nodding to each other and saying, yes, yes, got it, got it. But then 2 teams walk out of the meeting and with 2 completely different understanding of the same conversation. And that's not even the worst. And the hardest part we see is people have different expectations because of the different business culture they come from. So if you don't mind, I'm taking a little bit of time because I think this is very interesting. I can give an example because I actually have seen our China team and US team debating on something I think is stupid, but so they're actually debating if we should provide our client, our Chinese client, a full list of our influencers we have been working with. And the US team is like, no, this is part of our company value, this is our assets, right? But the China team is like, well, if you do not provide them this list, how do they know you're capable of doing this job? I mean, they have a point because this is basically what they do things in China. And as someone who had marketing agency experience in China, I fully understood them.
Knowing that the business norms are different and also the global awareness. Something that you want to add? Yes? Yes, please do.
So, me as a HR, doing HR job for 20-some years. And also I want to ask you questions, especially for people who are not American. Have you applied for the job and you send a resume? You think that you're the best qualified candidate, but you don't even selected, right? Just the first step, you're not selected, just maybe because of your name. you're not traditional or American name, right? So I have 3 boys, and they're 30, 24, 22, all Japanese name, but I gave them middle name as American name. My kids ask me, why you gave me the American name? You see when you apply for the job. You find out. So I'm excited about AI. Maybe AI not going to discriminate, the candidate based on the name. Just purely qualification that they specify. So I'm so excited about it. But the other side of me as a hiring manager or HR, the issue that I see, like the other day, we're so excited about candidate on the resume. Qualification perfect, we thought it's a miracle. Oh my gosh, we're so lucky. Then the candidate show up, the person, in the personal interview, and then, the Japanese company, we are very big about respected or well-mannered. So the candidate act like that. So I was very shocked, right? So yeah, I need to hire him. Right? But my point is, can AI screen that? That'd be very helpful. That I'm so thrilled. But yeah, so my point is, I want to use AI, definitely the good tools to screening the good candidate, but also I have to be part of the final decision that is right fit to the company, right? The company's culture. So,
what I didn't know in business schools is that you get cold called, and you have like a nameplate, so it's easy for the professors to cold call you. But throughout the 2 years, I never got cold called, and I think it's because my name is complicated. And Morgan is my married name, so my Japanese last name is different. And I think they just couldn't figure out how to call me. So sometimes it's to your advantage, but anyhow. Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, is around evolving HR organizational practices. So what are some of the new or innovative HR practices in your company or organization? And maybe you can also think about, how are you developing people differently? It's another big question. Sachiko-san, do you want to take that since HR is your area?
Sure. So then maybe I just,
Already shared?
No. It's kind of the backward of the innovative. So we can be innovative, but I learned that nowadays people like the more traditional way as well. We have new hire. I know she got offered 10,000 more than what we offered, but she chose us. And then 2 weeks later, after she was hired, I asked her, "Why did you choose us? I heard that you got a better offer." And she told me that she chose us because she wanted to work for the manager that she wanted to work for, like a hiring manager, right? So 90 days evaluation time, we asked her again, why do you like us? Why? And she said, "Oh, I like those activities that you guys created. It's not about compensation. It's more like she's more, she felt like she's involved. She welcomed the team." So my company, we don't offer the top market compensation. The compensation that we offer, like a teamwork, activities, be appreciated. So those activities that really works well. So it's not innovative, very traditional way to make employee happy, but it really works.
So that's why we talk about traditional hiring. What I could share here is not a lot of traditionals, because I used to work for corporate America for 15 years. I used to, a little bit background about what I do now compared to what I did before. I worked for company for 15 years, part of my job was hiring people, and that was super traditional. You run through resumes, you bring them for first, second, third round interview, and you make a hiring decision. I really feel the AI world and in what we do as a small company entrepreneur. So we definitely, there's nothing too traditional about it. And we look at what people truly need. You know, as you mentioned, the wonderful we do is create a community, create a team, and those are the words we're looking for. We don't even like to call employees. I feel like that's very passive. In today's world, especially in America, why are people here? What they want is freedom. What they want is growth. What they want is sense of community and a peace of mind. And that's what people are looking for. We don't call employees, we call a team member. We call it a team. We want to make it fun, and people need to like come to work and play a game. What is our game? It's get together making money. We're in, right? We are, our space, we're in commercial real estate. So that's really a unique space. That space requires real people, real work, real community, real money. I mean, that's, you have to make it fun. So we come to work to be with your team member, because our team member will support each other. And we create together, we back each other up. And that's what we do. So when you say innovative way to hire people, you just have to find the people that belong to this company.
Instead of looking at employees as just people on the org chart, but actually treating them as human, right? Which is so silly to say, but I come from, my background is in working in those big companies. That I think part of the reason why I left corporate America was because I felt like just one on the org chart, and I felt like it doesn't have to be me. So I really resonate with that. I wish I had you as my boss. Okay.
We're hiring.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I didn't know
we're competing.
I didn't think being a moderator would lead to a new job. Okay. Well, let's move on to the third question here. So it's about skills for the future workforce. So what skills and proficiencies are essential for students to develop in order to secure good jobs? What do you think? Yes,
I can
please.
take this one, and this comes back to a point that somebody else made earlier about the power of partnerships, and this is the way we're thinking about things now in the College of Science and Mathematics here at KSU. So I think about layers of things that students need to learn to make them successful in the workplace. So you think about foundational knowledge, you know, chemical reactions, how does a cell work, and then we move on to sort of technical skills like how to pipette, how to work in a lab, how to master a really complex physics equation or something like that. And we move on to another tier which is more elevated, and we heard earlier today from somebody in the previous panel about critical thinking, professional skills development, being able to communicate, leadership, teamwork. And then you kind of put that all together on the next layer, which is the partnership piece, which is applying what you know to a real world situation, perhaps with an industry partner, working in a research lab, a nonprofit, a government agency, that sort of thing, and so it puts it all together. But those are not just necessarily layers, it's sort of a circle, because then what we want is feedback from that partner on how are things working, how can we improve our curriculum for the students. And one challenge that we have in higher education, and I'll just put that out there to everyone who is in the business with me, is that higher education does not have a history of being very nimble. And we just heard about the need for the rapid pace to respond to rapidly changing landscape, things coming up all the time. And this is certainly something that we in higher education need to address and sort of get on the bandwagon with, is to be more agile with how we're training our students so we can better respond to the workplace. People teach sort of those skills about being responsive and adaptive and agile, but if you want to all of a sudden introduce a course in AI and how it relates to physics or something, you know, that's going to take you a while. That's the part that tends to be a little bit slower than I think we really need it to be today.
Yes. think, but what you said about in higher ed, I think that also does translate into corporate as well. Maybe the speed is a little different, but still I think those are one of the challenges as well. So I think it's a collective challenge that we all are having.
I know that some people advise you that, just find something that you can enjoy. But you know what? You cannot enjoy if you're not appreciate it, right? You enjoy what you do, but nobody appreciate what you do, right? How can you enjoy? To me, that's the other way around. That, you have to know yourself first, and then what's your strengths. Then find something that you can utilize your strengths to the work. And then after that, you see other people appreciate what you do, how you provide a value to the company. Then you will enjoy what you do. My company, the plastic industry, we sell the machine to make up plastic bottles. I didn't know that I enjoy, right? So, of course, me as a HR, I enjoy what I do, but I didn't know that I enjoy the working in the plastic industry. I believe that the majority of my coworkers, who work for the same company, I don't think they joined the company because they love plastic. So they love plastic. Now we talk about plastic, during a lunch break, outside the work. When I travel for my vacation, I'm still talking about plastic, right? So because I love what I do, not only the HR but also plastic. So I just want you to, to understand.
Students at KSU as they plan their future careers. Yeah, sure, because I can see there's something coming out.
I do. I feel really passionate about the question, like how do you, let me just comment what you just said. Follow your passion, follow to be appreciated, follow, what you want to do. Those are very luxury, by the way. I just feel like that's almost like you haven't offered me anything, you're already demanding something. I'm sorry, I have been.
Well, that's why we have 4 people here. So this is about
because we are entrepreneurial company, and we take our job seriously, and we take our business seriously. And a lot of time, comes with sacrifice. And truly, I have 3 daughters, by the way. I can tell you, they have no clue what they want to do. They changed their college application 5 times what they want to do. So how do you follow your passion when you have no clue? You are learning from the book. I would say, forget about your passion. Take a job and do it well, right? Then maybe passion, you can develop that passion. I studied accounting, finance, computer, HR. What else did I study?
You're passionate about and do it, from day one. But in the reality is you may not be able to. Because I had a mentor several years ago. He told me he actually found what he loved to do when he was in his 40s. So someone was lucky enough to actually know what you're actually passionate about, and someone may not even find out what you're passionate about. So I think both of them have a valid point. What I would give as a general suggestion to the students, not even just for the Asian studies, is there are a lot of great characteristics you can put on your resume. But as a business owner myself, what I value the most, I will give you 3. One is fast learner. And the second is problem solver. And the third one is, I don't remember. Let's talk about the first 2, because the world is changing rapidly. And if you are only good at one specific skill, and you may only be able to do that job. Be the expert on that, that's fine if that's what you want to do. But if you want to go higher, you want to be a manager, and you just have to be able to evolve. You can't just stay in your comfort zone. That's why I said I love fast learners. And also problem solver, that's really important as well, because in the real world, you would run into a lot of situations and people would just wait until someone else feed them, like, what do I do? And then a good problem solver would tell you what to do, but this is something you should come up with yourself. And specifically for Asian studies students, I would like to say, do not underestimate your major, because even though the US, China, I don't know about the situation in Japan or Korea or other Asian countries, so I would just use US, China as an example. Even though their relationship is being weird, but China is still like one of the largest manufacturer country. And for example, like we're making jewelry products, and we know that we need to go to Guangzhou, Panyu, that's where all the manufacturers making jewelries are. And if we need rigs, we go to Henan, Xuchang. That's because they're just like industry areas that you can find whatever you need in China. So by learning that culture, especially those business norms, and you would be able to actually work in a global environment.
I was lucky enough to go to a scholarship reception yesterday and talk to a couple of the students who had been recipients, and they were sharing with us what they were doing outside of the classroom. And they were involved in clubs related to the major they were studying. One of them was involved in student government. She had ended up being the coordinator of a student mentor program, and described that, you know, when she started, she didn't think she'd ever be in that role, and she sort of grew into it. And so I would say a couple of things: do things outside of the classroom, do things with your peers, especially to help them, but also put yourselves in situations that make you a little bit uncomfortable, because that's when we grow the most, right? When you are faced with a challenging or slightly uncomfortable situation, that's when you're gonna find yourself stepping up and developing into leadership. And I'm guessing my teammates here would be very interested in students who had developed those skills, but also kind of gone along that journey to think about what it means to become a leader and to help others.
Oh, sorry, I remember the third one. A good communicator.
Good communicator,
It's
yes.
very important. You gotta be able to work with people and communicate your ideas clearly. Otherwise, it's a failure, proven failure.
Thank you. That is a very important one. And thank you, Heather, for really talking about doing things outside of your comfort zone. And I think that leads to what Ming, you said about becoming a fast learner, problem solver. All of that is from experience of putting yourself out there, right? Doing that. So all of that, and good communicator, all that is really, I feel like it really connected with each other. So with that said, I'd love to open it up to questions, maybe one or two. Let's see, we have a little time, maybe 3. So there's mics. There's one mic over here. If you have any questions, please feel free to come up. And what I would ask you to do is love to hear your name and what do you call it? If you're a student, love to hear what you're studying. If you are working somewhere, if you would be open to share which organization you're from, that would be fun to know. And then if I can ask you, this is a huge request, but please start with a question instead of a background information. Is that cool? Yes? Okay. Sorry, a lot of roles. Hope you're a role follower. Okay. Well then, please.
Ni hao, konnichiwa, hello. I don't actually know how to say hello in Korean, so I do apologize. My question is,
What's your name?
My name is DJ. I go by DJ.
DJ.
I'm in the nursing program, and I have a minor in public health as well as Chinese studies. And my big question is for us who are looking to go into the global networking situation, for us who are having to overcome that cultural difference, especially when it comes to how different cultures run in the business world, what is the best advice you can give for us to actually overcome those cultural differences without having to just blatantly say, how do I get on the same page as you guys?
Great.
Like train us how to behave. At the end of the day, that's what I learned. In the business world, the professional world, there really shouldn't be a lot of culture. There's professional culture. That's the standard we need to uphold.
I mean, it depends on if you're working in one country with people from different cultures, or you are actually working with people in that culture right now.
Thank you. And then tell me what, your organization or what you're studying.
Of course, yeah, that's a hard one to follow up. But yeah, so my name is Will. I'll start with my question. I'm just very curious. We talked a lot about the resumes, and then we segued into a little bit of the interview landscape, in particular how interviews are going to become more of skills tests rather than just looking at a resume and listing out what you said you've done. You actually have to show it. And I'm really curious, I guess, from a business perspective, how that's going to work. Because I know with engineering, you can have people do problems and solve certain equations and those kinds of things. But I'm just curious how that will work in a business setting.
The professionalism, how you dress up, right? Be on time. Those kind of, soft skills that we pay attention to, especially Japanese company, we care about those. That a lot of qualified candidates out there, but who's the right fit to my company's culture, right? So my president, it's funny, he's Japanese. He always said, hey Chico, do you know what I'm looking for? Yeah, I know what you're looking for. That's it. He doesn't say anything specific, qualification, nothing. Yeah, I know what you're looking for. That's it, right? So that's more like a soft skills that he talking about. It's so hard to put in the AI, yesterday I had AI, hiring tool, the demo, that we were very impressed, but I said, no. I cannot use all the position that we have, by AI, so.
Onboarded remote employees, for instance.
Maybe like from different countries?
Yeah, or just, so we're a global organization, everyone is remote, and I feel like people don't get properly onboarded until the very first in-person workshop. And it feels like it's very hard to onboard somebody to a company culture via remote, that can have an impact on their future business.
It is a big question. Okay, what do you think is the biggest people-related challenge that executives are underestimating?
Well,
Go ahead.
Back to my previous point, I don't feel people are listening.
We are in the workforce, and think about your first, not just a job that you want, but the kind of person you want to become, right? Because regardless of the job that you have, you are always, as a person, you are the person. So as a person, it could be even the leader that you want to be, that you want to become. So you don't have to tell anyone. And if I can, again, leave you with one thing from what I experienced in my own work, but also hearing from all of you, is the future of work in this global world isn't just about what you know. It's really about who you want to be, who you're becoming. And in the work that I do, working with global companies and really the major industry-leading companies, the leaders and the executives that stand out are the ones who are not the ones who have all the answers. They're the ones who stay open, who stay curious, and who keep growing. Big hand.